The 1v1 interview series is a production of the Boss Rush network of podcasts. Visit bossrush.net to listen to our podcast and read our articles, game reviews, and more. You can also follow us on Twitter at Boss Rush Network to stay up to date with our content. Thank you for listening. Hello everyone, and welcome to 1v1 with the Boss Rush Network. I'm your host, Celeste Roberts. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing Nick Corden, probably better known as Octorden. Octorden!
Yeah, I've had a few people struggle with that one.
And it looks a little bit like octopus. He is an artist, illustrator, and the creator of the webcomic Seven and the Web of Truth. Hello, Nick, or Octorden, I should say.
Yeah, well, that name came about through needing an online name because every other name was taken, so I just mashed two things together and then it stuck.
Oh, I love that. So is your birthday in October?
It is my birthday, yes, but I do also like octopuses, so that was...
See, it could be either way, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for making time. I tell everybody I interview, I have a little list of people I want to interview, and I've had Nick on my list for a while. We've been mutuals on Twitter for many years now, and I've enjoyed his art and his webcomics, and that whole realm is kind of foreign to me. I'm not an artist, so I enjoy art tremendously, and I'm always fascinated by the different mediums people take. So I'm just so excited to learn more about it, and I'm sure listeners are too. So, yeah, so why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I'm from the UK, and I've always been into art and design, but when lockdown occurred, I had so much more free time on my hands, so I decided to fire up the Twitter account and punch out a few more pieces. And I didn't have the intention of starting any webcomics until I got into like a certain community on Twitter. Before, I was just doing like bits of fan art, like Legend of Zelda and stuff like that, which I think you might have seen, and that's how we became mutuals. I've always been into art.
That's awesome. So do you have a background, like a degree in art, or is it just a hobby of yours?
Yeah, I went to college and university, and I studied graphic design. I did do like foundation level art as like modules of those courses, but I wasn't really into those at the time. And then after uni, I kind of fell out of it and went and did other jobs and whatnot. But it was only like maybe the past 8 to 10 years or so that I've got back into a creative mindset.
Oh, wow. So life kind of happened and kind of took you away from that.
Yeah, that's it. You just go down a certain path and then the road keeps going, and then you have to kind of steer it from there.
Gosh, so how do you find time to work on your art? Because I'm sure you work, and do you have a family?
Yeah, I've got 2 boys. I've just had my second boy. He's only a month old, so time is of the essence right now. It's so scarce. I do have a job. I'm a technical illustrator, so when I come home from that job, it's family life. And then when everybody's in bed, that's when I get my time to do the art. So sometimes I'm like half asleep.
Gosh, so how many hours of sleep are you getting now between your art and the new baby?
1 hour. No, that's that.
Are you exaggerating?
Yeah, that's a joke. Probably not my 8 hours, which I want. So I have to get up every 2 to 3 hours to do feeds and nappy changes, and it's exhausting at the moment. But we'll get to a point where I'll have more of my own time to work on art.
You seem very refreshed today, I have to say.
Well, I've just smashed a coffee, so that might be
Well, oh, that's wonderful. You have a lot of great things going on, and I'm just amazed at people who can juggle their hobbies, their work life, and their family life. That's incredible. So, gosh, so what are some of your earliest memories of video games? You mentioned that you like The Legend of Zelda.
Yes, love that. That's one of my favourite franchises. I'm a little bit of a, I wouldn't say a Zelda nerd, because I could probably, not know the answers to some of the questions like you do on that another Zelda podcast. I'm like, I don't even know that one. But yeah, so my earliest memory would be for my 5th birthday. I got a Sega Master System with Alex the Kid. Do you know that one?
Yes, yes. I haven't played it, but I've seen it
Yeah.
before.
Is it Alex Kidd in Miracle World or Wonderland or something like that?
I think it's Miracle World. Someone
Yeah.
listening is probably going to yell at me if I'm wrong or something, I'm sure.
Yeah, Miracle World does sound like the one, but yeah, so that was the first sort of experience with gaming that I'd got. And I remember that being really hard at the time. There was a motorbiking level on the 3rd level or something, and you had to jump over obstacles. And I always remember dying and unable to get past that. And then I was into Sonic the Hedgehog because we'd had the Sega Mega Drive, and it just keeps going. I could chronicle my whole life with video games.
Wow. So I think the Sega systems were more popular across the pond than they. I mean, they're popular here, and they were, and
Yeah,
they still are.
I believe so. Yeah, because we had the Mega Drive here, and I remember a few of my friends had the SNES or Super Nintendo, but I think they were more popular in the States. So I didn't actually experience like A Link to the Past until much later on. But after the Mega Drive, I did get the N64 and I had a Game Boy. So like when Ocarina of Time came out, that was it then. That sealed the deal.
Oh, that's such a great game. What is your favorite part in Ocarina of Time, or what do you love about it, just overall?
Well, I love the Forest Temple vibes because that's like when you first become an adult and like the whole game changes and you go into the first adult dungeon and the themes and the vibes in there they're just that's what I think of when I think of that game.
Gosh, I love the music in that temple too.
Yes.
It's so good. And I love the hallway, that twist, that corridor.
Yeah, that's an iconic moment, isn't it? And then the next room becomes flipped. Yeah, yes, love it.
It's it's so good. Are you ready for Breath of the Wild 2?
Yeah, I've purposefully put up this poster just for this interview.
Oh,
I
how
thought,
special. I feel so
yeah, I
cool.
thought I can't sit in front of a white wall, and that'd be pretty boring. So I thought I'd put up a little poster.
I have my little Link plushie in the
I
back.
spotted that one.
I'm so excited for it. There's something about that series that, so I'm not the biggest fantasy reader. I don't really watch a lot of fantasy movies, but there's something about the Legend of Zelda series that seems so approachable and so welcoming.
Yeah,
It doesn't seem intimidating.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, there is a lot of lore when you dig deep into them, and you start watching all your theory videos and that, which I have done. But yeah, you can just go in with an open mind and learn from any point, any game, and yeah, you can slot right in anywhere with that series.
Yeah. So out of the Zelda games you've played, which one is your favorite?
Ocarina of Time is my favourite, followed by Breath of the Wild. I love Majora's Mask as well, and Link's Awakening.
Did you play the remake of Link's Awakening on the Switch?
I did, yes, yeah. I loved it. It was amazing. When the Nintendo Direct came on and there was that animation of the waves and there was the ship, I knew instantly what it was. I was like, and then they showed the gameplay footage and it was like this small diorama type graphic style. Yeah, I fell in love with it. It's perfect.
It's so cute. I don't know if you had those little people toys growing up.
Like Polly Pockets. Is it Polly
Kind
Pocket?
of. Slightly bigger Polly Pockets. They were like, I don't know if they're by Fisher Price or Play School, but they had rounded bottoms and their faces kind of looked like Link's face in the
Right.
remake.
Yeah, no, I'm not
Yeah.
sure about that one.
They're very cute. So as an artist, out of the Zelda games you've played or even just watched if you haven't played them, what art style is your favorite?
I really like Majora's Mask art style, the original, not the 3DS remake, because Ocarina of Time had such a um, it was like a natural fantasy art style, whereas Majora's Mask had these thick black shadows, and then there was like a key light on like Link's face. It was like green or blue or something, and it was such a dynamic shift from Ocarina of Time at the time. For me, I felt like
Oh,
that was amazing. I've got the arts and artifacts book just up there. I could show you an example if you needed, but you could edit that into a video if you.
that is that is so cool. I because they are similar, the similar engines, but I hadn't even thought about what you're
I
describing,
mean,
except like,
the concept art and like the box art, not so much in the game, because like you say, yeah, like
oh,
you say, the in-game engines were very similar. So I was referring to like
yes.
the concept art.
Now I can see it. It's much darker. It's a little bit more macabre, I
Yes,
find.
yeah, because I think in one of the it's like a splash shot. There's lots of characters, and there's Clock Town in the background, and I think there's one character that's like sort of in the back.
Oh gosh, it's a
Yeah,
little morbid.
yeah. It's like it's been hung. It's a bit creepy, and I think
Yeah.
Link's got the Mask of Truth in that one or something like that.
Yeah, he's holding.
Yeah.
Yep, he's holding
So
that.
yeah, it
It's
is
there are a
quite
lot,
macabre in areas. Yeah.
and I really love that game. I'm a big fan of side quests. Do you like side quests?
Yes, yeah. If it doesn't impede the main flow of the story too much, I'll do the odd side
Mm-hmm.
quest. But I suppose Majora's Mask is all about the side quest.
Yeah, it's Breath of the Wild has a good bit of side quests as well, which I enjoy. I think they enhance the games.
There's a lot to miss in Breath of the Wild because it's such an open world and you can go anywhere. So
Did you get all 900 Korok seeds?
no, did
I
you?
didn't either.
No, no.
No. No, especially when I found out. I mean, spoiler alert for anybody who's listening. But when you find out what the prize is for going through all of that effort, it's
I
a
wasn't
little.
sure if that was just like a joke, like that someone had just thought, "Oh, I'll play with the community here."
It has to be. It has to be. And I think it's fun to explore and discover them. I like the little mechanics of throwing a stone in the circle of rocks or
Yeah, or diving into
completing
the
a
lilies
circle.
and shooting the balloons and
Yeah,
things like that.
I really like that, but I'm not quite inclined to go spend that much time looking for 900 of those.
I think maybe there was that many that they wanted. If anyone went any way on the map, like any direction, they would come
Mm.
across a good amount. So I think that was the reason why they put 900 in.
I'm just not that patient. Oh gosh. So is there anything that was not in Breath of the Wild that you would like to see in the sequel? Any mechanics or storyline devices?
You know what? A lot of people do say that they miss the dungeons, and while that's true for me as well, I did enjoy what was on offer in Breath of the Wild. So I think that
Mm-hmm.
game, even people mention the weapon degradation, but I'm totally fine with that. So
Yeah.
no, I don't think anything was missing for me. I thought it was great. I loved every moment of it.
I don't mind it either. It's I like the the shrines. It's different. It's all different, and I like the open world, the sandbox type gameplay because I don't really get to play those kinds of games very often. I like both. I like what they do with Twilight Princess. I like what they do with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, same.
As well, so.
Same. I recently played through Twilight Princess, and I did make notes, and I was going to start like my own sort of blog and do artwork and review each game, and I wanted to try and rank each Zelda game. And that, have you seen my Midnight artwork on Twitter?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Right, I'll show you that one. And I drew that after I played through Twilight. And when it first came out on the GameCube and the Wii, I played them all the way through and loved them. But I haven't played them since, so I'd forgotten everything. And playing through it again, I didn't think I was going to enjoy it that much, but I did. Yeah, it's a good one.
What do you love the most about Twilight Princess?
I like its early dungeon variety. The later dungeons can be a bit tiresome, but the earlier ones, there's some really great dungeon designs in there. Like the, is it Windfall Temple, the one in the tree, the very first one with the monkeys.
Yes.
That's such a simple dungeon, but it's a great entry point. And then later ones like Arbiter's Ground, it's got some Indiana Jones vibes, and that game has some great dungeons.
I think it's Lakebed Temple. I could be wrong. It's where it has magnetic ceilings, so every time you put on the iron boots, you get attached.
Yes,
I think it's Lakebed.
And that has. Oh no, that's Goron Mines, I think.
Goron Mines. Okay, I got them confused.
Yeah, because you get the bow and arrow in that one, right?
Oh, I think so. It's been a little while since I played that one. I was replaying it last year, but I think I remember the main staircase in the Lakebed Temple.
The one that
you have to keep
spins
turning
round and then the water flows down it. Yes.
It's very pretty. I like water levels. They're very serene to me.
Yes, that one does have some serene music.
It does, and I love it. I know. I would really like to see more sidekicks in Zelda games. I like Breath of the Wild as well, but I really do like sidekicks. I think they can add some fun banter, and if you're lost, I really appreciate whenever they remind you, hey, shouldn't you be going to this location?
Yeah, you know what? A good sidekick does help with a good Zelda game, because Midna in Twilight, it's great. And I think Breath of the Wild was a little bit lonely in parts. So like, if Breath of the Wild 2 has like a mechanic where you can sort of partner up with Zelda, because that would be great. I think fans would love that as well.
So are you someone who would like to play as Zelda as well?
I think in the Wind Waker, where you have Medley and what's the little Korok? Makar,
yes. Yeah, he plays the violin.
Yeah, you can control them to a certain degree, and I think I'd be okay with something like that. I think that'd work, but I don't think Nintendo would ever do a fully fleshed out Zelda playable like Link. I think they would do like a control system like Medley and Makar.
Have you played Spirit Tracks?
I have, but it was years ago and I didn't finish it.
I didn't finish it either, but you get to control Ghost Zelda.
Yes.
I remember that.
Yeah, I think there was some stressful time puzzles in some of the dungeons, and I think that's what sort of finished that game for me. But
yes, there are those aspects, and you also have to blow to play like a flute or something. You have to blow on your 3DS, which
the panpipes.
It's a little disgusting when you think about it. Like, I wouldn't just hand my 3DS over to a friend after playing that game.
Here's a wet wipe.
And okay, have you ever experienced this in a Zelda game where a solution was so obvious, or at least after you discovered it, that you felt kind of silly?
I think I know what you're going to say.
Are you talking about Phantom Hourglass? Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, where you have to, I think it's a seal or something, and you have to close your 3DS.
Yes, I was actually on the bus playing that once. I wasn't driving back then, and I think I was in college. And I was on the bus, and I was just sat there watching the world going by, just, I don't know what I'm doing. And then I got fed up, closed it, and then just sat around and waited for a bit. And then by the time I'd opened the DS back up, the puzzle was solved, and I was like, oh.
It's or sometimes I do this as well. I try to remember, okay, the weapon I've received in this temple, or the most recent weapon I've obtained, is probably the solution to this puzzle. But every now and then it's not.
Yes, that does happen.
I'm not afraid to admit I have no problem looking up solutions if I'm frustrated. And I used to collect those video game guides when I was growing up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I used to get the ones that came free in magazines. They were like about this thick, and it was cheats for every game ever.
Yes. What? So, are there other series or even standalone video games that you enjoy besides Zelda?
Yes, I'm really big into Monster Hunter. So Sunbreak's just come out, so I've not had much time to play it with having a newborn and that, but yeah, I'm looking forward to getting my teeth into that.
I have a lot of friends who are excited.
Yeah. I've been playing it for a long time, so since Freedom 2, which was on the PSP. So I'm a bit of a Monster Hunter veteran, and I've played everyone since, bar the Japanese ones.
Okay, so I'm a Monster Hunter newbie. I've seen pictures of it.
So do you play?
People have played it. I've never played it before, so tell me about it. What sells Monster Hunter for you?
Okay, for me, I really love the monster designs. Each monster is so unique, and they have a personality to a certain extent. The way that they move and attack. But I think for me, the main catch is that fight between, because basically you go and hunt large monsters, and then you collect resources, and then you go back to like a hub, and then you repeat basically. And there's not much more to it. Well, there probably is. I might offend some people, but yeah, the cycle,
you're allowed to have your own opinion.
Yeah, the cycle is like hunt, collect, repeat, and for me, I find joy in learning a monster's moveset and then sort of being engaged in a one-on-one battle, which is quite intense. It requires a lot of focus to play. I can't play it when I've got little ones running around in front of me. I get my ass whooped if that happens.
Well, you just have to get them to help you. You're just going to have to hand them the controller and say, you take care of this boss. Right?
Well, it goes, if the little one wants to play, I'll usually put Mario Kart on.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Do you have a favorite course in Mario Kart?
Well, the Choco Mountain one came up today. That's one of the new ones in the pack.
Oh yeah.
You know, the online pack. So I was saying, look, the mountain's made of chocolate, and he was loving that.
Oh gosh, it's like Willy Wonka almost.
Yeah.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah,
so does he enjoy Mario games?
Well, he's weirdly getting into Mario. He's seen a few videos like Mario Kart, and then he's seen a bit of the Lego, you know, the Mario Lego set. He's seen a bit of that, and he's starting to recognise his face, and he's like, Mario! So could have a little Nintendo fan on the hands in the future.
Oh, I grew up with Nintendo. My dad's a gamer, and my two younger sisters like video games as well. But we always had Nintendo systems.
Yeah, same. Well, apart from the
Yeah.
Sega bit, but after the N64, yeah.
So, are there any games coming out either for? Do you play other systems currently, or it's mostly Nintendo?
I've got a PS4, but I only really play No Man's Sky on that.
Okay.
But that's coming out on Switch soon, which I'm quite hyped about. And then I think my PS4 might become redundant after that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't play much else.
Okay, so are there any games coming out for any system that you're intrigued by?
Xenoblade Chronicles 3 looks really good. I've played the other ones and I loved them. So yeah. What about you? Are you looking forward to any games? I feel like I'm being like... I know it's an interview about me, but I'm going to fire one back at you.
Okay. You're so... Oh, God. You want to put me on the spot now. It's okay. It's okay. So I'm really looking forward to Stray, that game about the little cat.
Yeah. Is that on the PS4, PS5?
They're going to have it on PlayStation 5, but I think they're also making a port for PS4, which is great because we don't have a PS5 yet. So I'm very much looking forward to the game about the little cat.
I have seen screenshots, but I'm not quite sure what that's about. What do you do as the cat in that one?
I don't know if he or she is like the last mammal or living creature.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm not sure if the rest of the world is full of maybe androids,
right.
Perhaps, or I'm not sure if there are humans, but it looks like you're just a cat left alone to explore. It looks kind of cyberpunkish, that Neo kind of look, which I really like. I really want to play Cyberpunk. We have it. I haven't found the time to play it. I just finished Self-Checkout Unlimited.
Okay, that I've not heard of that one. Is it? It sounds like a bit of a shopping game.
Well, you know, it's a walking simulator. It was only $5 US dollars on, I think, Steam, and it's at most 2 hours long. At the most, I really like walking simulators. Do you like walking sims?
I'm not sure what a walking simulator is. It might be self-explanatory, and I might be playing dumb here.
No, don't feel bad. You are in for a treat if you try any. If you enjoy storytelling that way and first-person perspective and like reading notes and exploring.
Right.
What Remains of Edith Finch is one. Dear Esther, Firewatch, Soma.
Right. I have heard of a lot of those games you've mentioned, but I didn't realise that was the category walking simulator.
Yes. I really enjoy it because I really like storytelling and I like taking my time and looking at everything. I'll read every novel, every note I can find. So if you want to watch me play a video game, you might get very bored. Celeste, you've spent enough time reading this diary. Please move on. But I don't want to spoil it too much, but Self-Checkout Unlimited takes place in a mall.
Oh, okay. So it is a little bit shopping.
A little bit, but you're by yourself.
Right. And there's no other people. Right, okay. I'm going to check it out after this.
Yeah, it deals with a lot of existential topics. It's not... I don't want to say it's not lighthearted, but towards the end it starts dealing with a lot of psychological and philosophical topics that really make you start just thinking about the meaning of life. And it's interesting that they were able to implement this into a shopping mall.
Right.
And yeah. I'm curious if our shopping malls are similar to your shopping malls in the UK.
I think your shopping malls are on a much grander scale than ours.
Really?
Yes. We have a couple in like the big cities. I think there's the Trafford Centre in Manchester that has everything you could think of in one place. And I imagine most American malls are like that.
Yes, and you know it's I don't know if it's like this over there, but a lot of our malls are dying out. There's actually a subreddit dedicated to dead malls
Right.
where they're just that are dying, maybe just a few stores or they've closed completely.
Yeah, that's happened a lot in the UK as well. I think the high street has taken a hit. So
Oh yeah. We have I don't know what the term would be, but like in a city next to me, instead of a mall, you will go on a boulevard and it'll have a stretch of different stores. So you'd have to drive, park at one store, and then if you want to go to the other store, you have to do the same thing. Is that kind of how it
yeah, I
is
think
over
that's.
there?
I think the high street. Yeah, I think. Did you say boulevard?
That yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's called. I just call it a boulevard. I could be using the wrong term.
yeah. That's not a term used over here, but yeah, it is basically like a long street with loads of shops on it and whatnot. I think
Yes,
that's what we
High
refer
Street.
to. Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot. It sounds fancier
But
than
really,
Boulevard. I think it does. Like, oh, Boulevard. Now I'm thinking of the Green Day song,
oh,
Boulevard of
broken
Broken
dreams,
Dreams.
right?
So that's what I played recently was Self Checkout Unlimited.
Right, I'm going to have a
And
look.
I'm curious what you think about it. It's very short. Just it's pretty though, and I like that the jazzy music. It's very soothing. But so speaking of art, okay, we have to talk about your art because I really enjoy your Seven in the Web of Truth comics that you've been posting. And you recently entered, is it a contest that you entered?
Yes, so where I post my webcomic 7, it's called Webtoon, and they basically host webcomics. You can upload your own, they have paid gigs like originals, and so they have opened this contest. It's a big one. It's you have to create a action based comic, provide so many panels and an episode, and the prize fund is like I think $50,000. Yeah, it's pretty big, and there's a
Wow.
big prize fund for second and third place as well, and there's a chance at becoming an original. So I thought I'd entered that. I finished it and uploaded it yesterday. It's called Shadow Chasers.
I read it right before this interview. I
Oh, you
wanted to be
read it?
prepared.
Thank you very much. What did you think?
I okay, I'm a big Resident Evil fan.
Okay, you got
So
some
I
Resident
got some
Evil
Resident
vibes.
Evil vibes. and but I have to know what happens. Okay, do you have something else ready to go or you're waiting to see what happens with this edition?
Yeah, I'm basically just waiting for see how it does in the contest before I put any more time into it. Because I would really like to finish 7 before I carry on with Shadow Chasers. So I'm sorry if I've left you on a cliffhanger. You're going to be hanging on
Oh.
for a long time.
Well, I have to know what's this person's problem? Is this even a person? So do you have the plot in your head ready to go, or are you kind of just waiting to see what happens before you develop it?
Yeah, I've got ideas and thoughts, but so the theme is that the world is slowly coming to a stop, and this group of characters are going to get caught on the side of the planet which is in the night time, basically. So they're going to be stuck in a permanent darkness, and I would like it if they sort of travelled this huge distance to get to the light side of the earth. So I think the story will be about their journey, and if you've read the pilot, you see the shadow that comes out of the man on the floor. There's going to be more shadows of. They're going to be different sizes and different threat levels. So I kind of like the idea of them dealing with that as they travel, and then yeah. So it's sort of in here, but it's not written down as such. I'm just going to see how we do in the contest. But for now, I'm going to go
I,
back to 7.
Well, not only is the art good, the storytelling is very, very good because I'm like he has to tell me what happens, what is going on, and you know what sticks out the most to me from that pilot, the part where on the radio they're listening to the speaker says something about the world, the Earth is turning slower and slower, so a portion of the Earth could be in eternal darkness.
That was right at the end, wasn't it? I was hoping that that would have a significant impact on readers, that they would like want to find out more and find out what happens to these characters. But I'm glad that you've said that that part sort of had an effect on you.
Well, and I don't know if you intended this because I know like readers interpret things differently. This is so it reminded me of just all the doom and gloom that we hear about in reality about global warming, about overpopulation, uh, just all these the climate change, just everything bad that can happen in the world. And I thought, maybe it's not such a so far fetched that half the world could start turning slower and slower, and some people are going to be very unlucky.
Yes, that would be. Yeah, well, the thing is, I thought that at the end. Oh no, I can't. It'll spoil it. I can't spoil
Okay,
anything.
okay. I know it's a tease.
I was about to
tease.
reveal the end.
Oh no! Don't do that to me. But oh gosh, so at the time of this recording, which is July 2nd, 2022, when does the contest end?
July 31st is the end of submissions. So
okay,
submissions is still open, so anyone can enter for now. And then August to September is the judging period, and then in September is the reveal of the prizes and winners and whatnot. So I've got a bit of waiting around to do.
That's got to be the worst part. That's the worst part. Well, I really wish you luck. And can you say the name of the comic again, just so people can know what to look for?
It's Shadow Chasers, and it's on Webtoons.
Oh, that's awesome. And so the one that you've been working on, I would say the most would be Seven and the Web of Truth, right? Okay, you want to tell us about that one?
So Seven and the Web of Truth is about a spider living in a bug world. He has 7 legs, hence the name. He's struggling to find his place. So he lives in this small town called Potstead. But he's the only spider there, and he doesn't really know it yet, and he doesn't understand why he doesn't fit in. So the comic is about how Seven learns about his identity, comes to accept his identity. It's about him fitting in, and this probably rings true for a lot of people, how they struggle to find their own identity and fit in. So I hope that resonates with those sorts of people. So yeah, there's lots of moments where Seven is sort of fleeing from attacking birds, and there are other bugs who are sort of foe. You don't know who's friend or foe. It's quite hard to put in a nutshell, but that's on Webtoons. I'm about halfway through the story.
Oh wow! Yeah. So it has an end?
Yes, yeah, it does have an end. It's not like an ongoing, continuous series like some people do with webcomics. The whole idea for me was to create a physical comic. I wanted to do that before I found out about Webtoons. And then I just started posting on there, and it was a great platform for me to just get motivated and crack on.
That's incredible. And how long have you been working on Seven?
I've had the story in my head for about 5 years or so, but I've actually been working on the comic for 1.5 years.
Wow, you've made a lot of progress.
Yeah, it's a long time to only be halfway through the story. I never ever thought it would take this long.
So, so what is the challenge? Like, what as an artist, what are some of the challenges with progressing? Is it just life getting in the way, or do you have writer's block sometimes?
Um, yeah, writer's block was a big one. Writing the whole plot out was was quite a challenge because I'm not really a writer and I've never wrote a comic before, so that was a challenge. But I think getting over getting over the fact that you might. I'm quite a harsh self critic, so when I see my own work, I kind of can cringe or sort of scrap it and not enjoy it. So I think getting over that and just putting stuff out there was the biggest hurdle for me because I kept redrawing things, and by the time you've redrawn one thing, you've not got it out there for the world to see. So I think the hardest thing was just to accept your level and just post.
It now the drawings that the art style seems very like very fun, very lighthearted. Would you say that this comic is family friendly, or is it for a more mature audience?
Seven is definitely family friendly. I've tried to keep it sort of age appropriate for all ages. I have actually had one reader tell me that they read it with their kids and they love it, which was really quite a nice moment for me.
That had to be so heartwarming to hear that.
Yeah, there's no swearing or mature themes or no like grotesque violence or anything like that. And a lot of people have said that they've got like Disney vibes, like Amphibia and Gravity Falls, those sorts of vibes from it.
Oh, it does remind me of something. I can't think of what. I get Minish Cap vibes for sure from The
Okay,
Legend of Zelda.
yes, I have taken inspiration from Minish Cap. There's one panel where there's three antagonist spiders who Seven hasn't met yet, but there's a shot where they're walking and looking up at like these clover grass blades and then these clover leaves, and that was inspired by the Minish Cap. You know when you there's some box art and um, there's like the four leaf clovers in the background,
Yes, yes.
and they look like big trees, and I felt like that was sort of great, so I pinched that.
Oh, I love that. That is really cool. It's very inspiring and it's very charming. I did you ever watch Honey, I Shrunk the Kids or Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves?
Yes, I did see that when I was a kid, and actually, going back to video games, I've seen a game on Xbox called Grounded, and that's about kids shrunk in the garden, and it's like an open world. I think it's open world, but you can create your character and then you fight spiders and there's bugs, and that game looks like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yes, it. Oh, okay. It's not Bug Snacks. Grounded,
No,
not Bug
Grounded, I
Snacks.
think it's
Okay.
called. Yeah, I think it's on
I'm
Xbox.
okay. I'm gonna have to look at that. We have Game Pass, which I really enjoy because I can
Right.
try different games.
Yeah, check it out. It looks great, and I've seen that, and I thought that it reminded me of Seven, and I wanted to play it, but I don't have an Xbox.
Oh, I know. I wish. I mean, I get it why companies have exclusives. It's to get people to buy their systems, but it's also a little frustrating. Like I don't feel like dropping $300 to $400 today. But do you have any other projects besides this contest and Seven going on, or that you plan on working on?
I've been trying to dabble in a little bit of animation, but it's just bits and bobs, experiment wise. So yeah, not really got any other projects other than that.
Okay. Now, this might be a silly question, but I didn't think to ask it until just now. What do you use to create your comics? Like, what programs?
Okay, I use a iPad Pro with Clip Studio Paint.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Clip
That is
Studio is a popular one amongst digital artists. I think the company who make it Celsius, and I think they might be
okay.
Korean or Japanese. And it started off as a manga production art app, and now it's just sort of
Oh,
it's it's getting closer and closer to Photoshop in terms of like all the amount of tools that are available to you and things like that. And it's much cheaper than Photoshop as well. So, and it's great. It's perfect.
that's awesome. When you were growing up, did you like to draw, hand draw?
Yeah, I did a lot of traditional stuff. I drew a lot of fan art. I drew a lot of like Zelda and like Banjo Kazooie and stuff like that.
I love Banjo-Kazooie. You know, it just turned 24.
Did it? Wow. Have seen that it's on the online expansion pack on Switch, and I've been meaning to play it to relive some of my childhood days.
What's your favorite level in Banjo-Kazooie?
I haven't played it I haven't played it since the N64 days, so I couldn't even tell you what levels were in there. I know
I know.
there was like a snowy Christmas level, and I remember there was
Yes.
a key, an icy key behind a glass wall, and that I remember trying for like weeks to try and get behind that, but I don't think it was ever achievable, was it?
I don't think it's accessible. I think it's a big tease in that game. I think they bring it in Banjo-Tooie, and I think you can actually use it. I could be wrong.
Right. At the time, I heard that you remember Sonic and Knuckles, how it had the flip open top, and I heard that Banjo Kazooie was going to do that, and those keys that were hidden, I think they were going to be accessible through that sort of cartridge connection. But that could have
Oh.
just been ruined. I don't know.
Yeah, there were so many rumors back then, and you really didn't have a way to dispel those rumors. But I know I played a little bit of the Game Boy Advance Banjo Kazooie game. I think it's called Grunty's Revenge.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that one.
Yeah, I think it's kind of top down from what I remember. It's not 3D, but I've played Banjo Kazooie and Banjo Tooie, and I played a little bit of Grunty's Revenge. I haven't played Nuts and Bolts yet.
Oh no, I haven't played that one either.
Some people, I hear mixed reviews on it. Some people really love it, and some people don't love it. But I'll have to find out for myself and form my own opinion.
Yeah, well, you have to with any game, really, don't you?
Yeah, that's the thing. Whenever okay, this might be weird. I don't really like to read too much about video games that look intriguing to me. If okay, like so if you would tweet something about a video game that I look at a screenshot and it looks interesting to me, I'll go follow the developers or the game's Twitter profile, but I try not to read a lot about video games before I play them because I want to go in without any preconceptions. I want
Yeah,
to experience it as honestly as possible.
yeah, I'm with you on that one. Apart from if I'm unsure whether I want to play it, then I might look at the odd review. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
with Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, I've tried to stay away from any spoilers or reviews or any tweets on Twitter. So I've gone in with like sort of like you say, no preconceptions.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why people would want to read reviews, especially if, I mean, that's a lot of money, possibly, you're going to spend on a game, unless you
Yes,
wait for it to go on sale.
I suppose there is that spending all that money.
Or if you're buying for a child and you're worried, okay, is this appropriate for my 5-year-old? Maybe not Grand Theft Auto. Maybe don't let your.
Oh, well, before I got into a creative career after uni, I worked with some kids in care, and I did a home visit with one, and there probably was like a 6 or 7, 8 year old playing Grand Theft Auto.
Oh wow! Did they seem to be mature enough to play that game?
I don't think they really understood what was going on, but they just loved the fact that they could just get in any car and drive around the city and just cause mayhem, basically.
You could do that with Crazy Taxi or The Simpsons,
Hit
and Run. I really can't say anything because I was playing the old Mortal Kombat games when I was very young. I'd play with my dad, but what intrigued me about those is, as you probably remember, there weren't a lot of female protagonists you could play as in video games back then on Super Nintendo, Genesis, or the regular Nintendo. The female protagonists were mostly in fighting games like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Killer Instinct. So I was drawn to those games because, finally I can play as a girl. I can play as a female fighter, and even if she doesn't look like me, I'm playing as someone who I feel represents me. So I think it's really important representation. I think video games are getting better at that too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's lots of different themes that games are getting better at exploring as well, like mental health and things like that.
Yes, and I'm very happy for that. So if you decide, speaking of mental health, if you decide to delve into a walking simulator, I highly recommend What Remains of Edith Finch, especially since you do webcomics.
Right, okay. So is there an artistic theme in that one?
There is. I don't want to spoil it too much, but you play little vignettes of different characters and to try to understand more about the protagonist family. And I don't want to spoil it, but let's just say comic books play a vital role in one of the characters' stories. And I think you will enjoy the creative expression with how they tell that character's story. And if you ever play it, you have to let me know what you think. It's okay if you don't like it, but I have to know what you think.
I have heard of that one, and I did hear that it got some good reviews. It's only a couple of years old, right?
I think so. At least maybe within the last 10 years, maybe. Time, I don't even know what time is anymore. We're already in July, so I can't think of it, but that is true. Yes, I love that video games are covering those themes. So you've talked about some other projects with getting into animation, and what's a way that listeners can support you?
Right now, I think the best way that someone could support me is to just check out my comics on Webtoon, read them, tell me what they think, like, comment, subscribe, share it with their friends, that sort of thing. So if listeners or anyone watching this wants to have a look, just go on webtoon.com and search for Seven in the Web of Truth and Shadow Chasers. Yeah, I did try and start a Patreon, maybe during lockdown, to help with some finances or whatnot, but I couldn't keep it up, if you know what I mean. There's a lot of sort of work behind the scenes to keep Patreon going, and I felt like that asking people for money for me not doing anything was not fair, so I had to stop that. But yeah, the best way is to just look at my stuff and just tell me what you think.
Where can people follow you?
I'm mostly active on Twitter. My username is @Octorden. That's OCTORDEN. I do have an Instagram as well, but I'm not really enjoying that as much. So yeah, if you're on Twitter, connect with me on there.
Awesome. If you ever establish another Patreon account or a Ko-Fi or anything like that, please be sure to share it on Twitter so we can support you.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I will. I'll let you know.
Well, Nicholas, this has been so much fun. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I'd just like to apologise because I'm not very good about talking about myself. I know we wanted to interview me about my art, and we ended up chatting a lot about video games, that was enjoyable. But yeah, I'm not very good at like digging myself.
Well, that's okay. This I view the 1v1 series as a way not only for people to get to know more about quote unquote your claim to fame, but also get to know you as a person more. What are your interests? What are your passions? A little behind the scenes.
Yeah, yeah, it's been really fun. I've enjoyed it. It's been nice to connect and have a little chat. It's been good.
Oh, thank you so much for making time, especially with your two little ones and your wife and your job and just all the
It's
chaos of
full
life
on.
going on. But thank you again, Nicholas
Oh, thank you for
Octorden,
having me.
for making time. And listeners, you can certainly go and follow him at the links he shared. We'll also have those when we share this interview. And you can find more 1v1 interviews and Boss Rush's other podcasts at bossrush.net. And you can follow me, Celeste, on Twitter at FairyCrypt. But until next time, we'll talk to y'all later. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.